And we're back with the former general manager of the CKO Radio in Vancouver, with overriding responsibilities for the Calgary and Edmonton operations as well, John Marshall. John, I think that 12 years was too much, $55 million. I can understand that. But you know, if we caught that thing 5, 6, 7 years ago, because Vancouver really was coming along, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. You know, one of the things that the fact that you would join CKO, and believe me, you have a wonderful following that will follow you wherever you go, be it on television or on radio. That not only brought up our ratings in the evening, but turned around and helped us with our morning show, because people would tune into you at night, basically have that as a listening pattern because they went to bed with talk, would wake up in the morning and all of a sudden they'd be listening to Lloyd Finlayson and the rest of the morning crew, and they became very accustomed to the short synoptic of the day's events that they would get at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Well, as a matter of fact, I know it doesn't sound as if I have too much humility, but despite the fact that I never spent a nickel on advertising saying where I was, in one rating period, which would be about 3-4 months, one rating period, we took CKO at nighttime from last, LAST, to second in this entire market, all AM, FM radio.
Pat, we had 600 quarter-hourly average, which is a measurement that we had.
All right, the number to call, 280-2588. Let's go right to the phones.
Mr. Burns.
Yep.
I am so surprised, sir, that you are so insensitive and intolerant to the center of the universe, namely Toronto. Patrick, I'm shocked. I'm sitting here looking at my television at this, for kind words, it's a television audience, nice-looking gentleman with a big green tie on there. But I wanted to mention two things to you fellas. Have you noticed that the recent NDP campaign in Winnipeg and the Toronto CKO decisions have something in common?
No, what's that?
They're both wimps, and they both want to be perceived as politically correct. You'd hang in there, Patrick. There's still a voice in Vancouver waiting for you. We'll watch for you.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, caller.
Pat.
Yeah.
I've been a follower of yours for years, and I'm so sorry to see this happen. Those turkeys out in the east there, I mean, they don't know what the heck's going on. It's indicative of what's wrong with this whole darn country. We just don't want to seem to get off the dime and do things right. And just one more thing. I seem to recall some years back, or maybe a couple of years back, you mentioned, or someone mentioned, that you had an offer more than once from the U.S. Maybe you should go down there, and then those pinheads in the East may have a little more respect for people like yourself. That's what I got to say.
I tell you what, I had offers from KGO San Francisco, KNX Los Angeles, WBBM Chicago, and WNEW, I think it was New York. I turned them all down, but the KGO offer was rather interesting. In fact, I had twice from KGO, because the consultants that came up to find out what was wrong with the network, the guy said to me, he said, "You knew Ira Blue?" I said, "Yeah, I did know Ira quite well." He said, I said, "Matter of fact, I was a guest on his show. I was down in San Francisco once, said hello to him, and he made me a guest on his show." And I said, as a matter of fact, the next day my hotel phone rang, and they offered me a job, the drive home time, 4 to 6. But I said I turned it down. He said, "I know, I was the manager of the station at that time." Isn't that a coincidence? Thanks, caller. Go ahead.
Hi, thanks for calling, having this show on today. It's quite interesting. Been wondering what happened to CKO, what's going to happen to you, Pat, and what's happened with Bob McLean, please. Thank you.
What's going to happen to me? Well, as you know, the Lord looks after me, doll. When the house fell in 1965, the Lord lifted me up and gave me my 4 years in Vietnam, alias Montreal, where I did the hotline in Montreal. And finally, when I decided that I preferred my life rather than fame in Montreal, when they wanted to kill me, literally, they had me up in a gun sight. Now, I came back to Vancouver, and then lo and behold, CJOR went out of existence, and I bounced up at CKO. Now, CKO went out of existence, but Patrick is a survivor. He'll be around, don't worry. Go ahead, caller.
Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to say I was really disappointed when CJOR went off the air. I missed you. I found you quite by accident on CKO. And next time, I want to know where you're going, because it's just not the same going to bed without you.
I know, doll. It isn't the same going to bed without me. So many women go to bed with Patrick. Isn't that great?
Well, you're the best.
Goodbye, doll. Go ahead, caller.
Hello, sir. I'm just hoping that the people in Eastern Canada are paying attention to this show. I want to underline the comments made earlier. I accidentally found you on the air one day while switching through the dial one evening, and there was Pat Burns' voice, and I thought, well, isn't this tremendous? But I hadn't known where you were for over a year, and that was 2 weeks before you folk went off the air, and I was real sorry to hear that.
It used to drive me crazy, caller. I was at CKO for 14 months before the atom bomb hit it. And to the very day that it went off, I used to find people run every day, I mean literally every day, say, gee, Pat, we miss you on air. When are you going back on air? And I got so sick and tired of saying, look, I've been on for the last year or so.
Yeah,
Where?
well, we didn't know about it, sir.
I know, because the dummies in Toronto didn't advertise it.
Well, thank you.
All right, go ahead, caller.
Yes, I would like to say, from the beginning, I was listening to CKO radio, but I was very quickly annoyed by the leftists winning in the radio. And that was when I was still living in Montreal. And here is rich, fat North America. People are not used to news. They have problem find where is Canada on the map. And
Toronto does, I know
the
that.
immigrant mostly listen to the radio. And when they hear the same things what they hear the propaganda in their own country, they get annoyed very quickly.
Well, I see you got a pretty low-level point of explosion. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, caller.
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Burns. I am one of these displaced French frogs, not from Quebec, but from France. I also used to live in BC
From France?
prior to being transferred with our family to TO, and I have to say, in TO, Toronto, we never heard anything about the weather out from BC. Like you said, it's a city of its own that revolves totally in Ontario, and the rest of the country doesn't mean a thing. Now, there's also just a little few pieces that I'd like to mention. I still can't understand the problem that Quebec has. I came from Europe, had met my husband over there, taught myself how to read and write in English. This is a beautiful country, and I don't know what Quebec has to bitch about.
Thanks for calling, dear. Well, she has something to say, and she said it. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, I figured it was a Machiavellian plot because the voice of the people was heard across Canada, and they couldn't stand that. There was another part to this country. People with opinions, people with knowledge, all talking to you at night.
Well, Doll,
Take that, you know.
no, Doll, I'm embarrassed by what you say. No, it really wasn't any kind of conspiracy. Although many people in Ottawa, particularly, and Quebec, but particularly in Ottawa, are glad that I'm no longer nationwide because I was teaching people too much about how politics really works. But no, it was not a conspiracy. $55 million in 12 years is just too much money to lose. Thanks for calling, dear. Go ahead, caller.
Oh, hi, Pat. So
Hi.
good to see you. I called that night they took you off, and I spent, I think, a half an hour on the phone trying to figure out what was the matter and begin to, think there was something wrong with me or the phone. But anyway, I just wanted to say the sun rises and sets in the east. You should know that by now. And one more thing, Pat. There are so many. I'm not. I don't know your age, but there are so many sweethearts that I've heard on your show that I could feel in my heart that this was their life. If they didn't have a family, this gives them a chance to be with people and to hear from people all over Canada. And it breaks my heart, and I think it's breaking a lot of other people.
Thanks for calling, dear.
Bye.
All right, go ahead, caller. Take one more. Go ahead, caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Good day, Mr. Burns. I listening to you is almost like a religion, and actually I heard the voice before I saw you, so I came out to see what Mr. Burns looked like. I want to tell you that your show is the only one I think that
Sexy-looking beast, isn't he?
that really deals with the problems, and I understood a lot about meat stick. I understood a lot of things that are going on in Canada, and I really do miss you, and come back soon.
Okay, doll, thanks for calling. All right, now, we're going to have to wind up this segment. I want to thank my former GM, John Marshall of CKO. Thank you so much, John, for taking the time out to come down to the studio. And right after the break, we'll have Elizabeth Manley and somebody else, but I won't mention who the somebody else is. We'll find out right after the break.
Weekdays at 1, turn to First News Magazine and open your eyes to the world. From a review of the day's top headlines to a look at the spicy world of entertainment, it's all there for you. A fresh and exciting look to daytime television. First News Magazine, weekdays at 1 on CKVU.
On Saturday, I met Ramon. On Monday, he sent me a rose. Tuesday, sweet gardenias. And I put each one in this beautiful silver-plated Rialto Bud Vase from Shoppers Drug Mart. Your free gift with a minimum $30 purchase of cosmetics or fragrances. Perfect for gift giving. Thursday, he sent me an orchid. And on Friday, Ramon sent me the bill.
Oh, whoa.
Nice surprises are what Christmas is all about. At Woodward's official Christmas sale, you'll find a lot of nice surprises. Nice surprises are what Christmas is all about. At Woodward's official Christmas sale, you'll find a lot of nice surprises.
All my life I've been showered with priceless trinkets by those seeking my favor. Still, a moment of amusement is nothing compared to the lasting satisfaction of one truly tasty gift I receive from a trusted friend every day. Fancy Feast gourmet cat food, the finest and fanciest feast money can buy. Fancy Feast, divinely delicious.
Replace your aging fridge with an energy-efficient one, and BC Hydro will rebate you $50 cold cash. Another Power Smart program from BC Hydro.
A bed. Thank you. Make a couple of calls, shower, sleep. Oh, my glasses. Oh, no.
Right now at Bay Optical, it's the great 1 cent sale. Buy a pair of glasses at the regular price and get the second pair for just 1 penny. Some restrictions apply. Check our newspaper ads for weekly money-saving coupons and come in today to take advantage of the great 1 cent sale. On now.
Cristal, the great tasting non-stick gum has changed. The pack is new. The shape is different, but the biggest change is inside. It has no sugar. Cristal Gum is sugar-free. Now, a gum that doesn't stick to dental work and is sweetened with NutraSweet. The first ever sugarless non-stick gum. That is a change. A big change. A change for the better.
And now in this segment of the show, I think we'll call this one Beauties and the Beast. For in the studio with me right now, I have Elizabeth Manley and, what's your name?
Maggie's Muffins.
Maggie's Muffins. Oh, you're Karen Magnussen.
I'm the ski.
That's right. I'll tell a little story about us a little later on in the show, Karen.
Does this remind you of anything?
Yes, it does, and I'll tell them all about it. See that pin? See? There's a pin. I'll tell you about that in a minute. True story, too. Now, Elizabeth, my dear.
The throne of the Hoosier Hunter are making it the Holman Classic for 3 years now.
Here's a team race now. Hammond is trying to get by Hewitt. Hewitt looks extremely loose on the outside. Hammond just can't quite.
Olympics in Calgary, 1988. Cheated out of the gold by that woman who skated naked. Or